Good morning, students. Today in English Reader, we are going to start with the chapter number 1 poem Coromandel Fishers. This interesting poem is written by Sarojini Naidu. Before we continue with the poem, I would like to tell something about the writer Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu was born on February 13, 1879 in Hyderabad. She was known as the Nightingale of India. She was the first Indian woman to become the president of the Indian National Congress and the first woman to become the governor of India, state governor of India. This interesting poem, The Coromandel Fishers, was first published with the title of Golden Thresholds in the year 1903. Sarojini Naidu was a distinguished poet, renowned freedom fighter. She was not only a poet but a very great politician also. She was very much inspired by Mahatma Gandhi. Because of that, in the Quit India movement and civil disobedience movement, she was being arrested and jailed along with the Mahatma Gandhi. Now, she actually has written a poem about a fisherman that what lifestyle does a fisherman has and what problems do they face. Because she has spent a lot of time in the Coromandel coast, she knows exactly what the fishermen do. The poem Coromandel Fisher is though about a fisherman, yet it metaphorically reflects the poet's desire for free India. She encourages the people of the nation to hasten their struggle. Coromandel Fishers. Rise, brother, rise, the awakening skies pray to the morning light. The wind lies asleep in the arms of the dawn, like a child that has cried all night. Come, let us gather our net from the shore and set our catamaran free to capture the leaping wealth of the tide, for we are the son of the sea. This is the first stanza. In the first stanza, the poet asks the fisherman to rise. As the day is about to appear, she says that the awakening skies pray to the morning light, which was sleeping in the night, has woken up and is welcoming the light. In the second line, the wind lies asleep in the arms of the dawn like a child that has cried all night. In this line, she says, the wind lies asleep in the arms of the dawn like a child that has cried all night, meaning that the sea wind that leads to the storm is now calm. As the tide rises in the night because of the moon's gravitational pull, because of the morning which is about to come. Thus, the wind is just like a child which kept crying throughout the night, and now he is quiet. Here, in these lines, the poet uses simply to compare now calm wind with a child. The poet is comparing a child to the calm wind. By uses these two symbolic examples, she declares that the morning is near. In the third line, to capture the leaping wealth of the tide, for we are the son of the. Come, let us gather our nets from the shore and set our catamaran free. In this line, the poet asks the fisherman to gather their nets from the shore and set their catamans free in order to capture the leaping wealth of the tide, for we are the kings of the sea. According to the poet, the fishermen should collect their nets from the seashore and take their boats because the tide is full of wealth. What is the wealth of the sea? Fishes, the seagulls, etc. And they are the kings. They just need to go to the sea to capture the wealth as is theirs. Hence, they should hurry. In this line, the poet is saying that hurry up, the time is running out. Let us gather our nets and set our catamans free, and we should go into the sea to catch the fishes. No longer delay, let us hasten away in the track of the seagull's call. The sea is our mother, the cloud is our brother, the waves are our comrades all. What though we toss at the fall of the sun, where the hands of the sea God drives, he who holds the storm by the hair will hide in his breast our life. In the second stanza, the poet asks the fisherman to do everything fast. The poet is asking to do all the things fast. The seagull call is a symbol used to depict that morning is near. What is the seagull is a symbol used to depict that morning is near. The poet calls sea as their mother. In this line, the poet calls the sea as their mother, cloud as their brother, and sea waves as their comrades. Comrades means companions. In this line, poet uses the personification. The sea is our mother, the cloud is our brother, the waves are comrades all. What though we toss at the fall of the sun? He who holds the storm by their hair will hide in their breast our lives. The sea is considered the mother because it feeds them and helps them to sustain their life. The poet is comparing the sea to the mother because the sea helps them to feed and helps them to sustain their life. They are able to earn with it. Similarly, clouds are their brothers because they guide the fishermen. Here again the poet is comparing cloud to the brother because they guide the fishermen while the waves are companions. And to the waves, poet compares waves as their companions, that because they kept moving with the poet, with them, because they keep moving with them. The poet thus wants to say that they all are here, are family and help each other. In these lines, in the second stanza, poet wants to say that they all are a part of a one family and they help each other. She urges other not fear because even if they could not return back by the sunset, the sea god, which according to her holds the sea storm by a hair, will save them, or they will hide them in their breast or lives. In the third stanza, sweet is the shade of coconut glade and the scent of the mango grove, and sweet are the scents at the full of the moon, with the sound of voice we love, but sweeter, O brother, the kiss of the spray and the dance of the wild foam glee. Row, brother, row to the blue of the verge, where the low sky meets with the sea. In the third stanza, and this is the final stanza, the poet says that the shade of the coconut glade, the scent of mango grove, and the sand at the moon with the sound of the voice they love are the sweet and enjoyable, but these joys are temporary. Rather, they should go for the kiss of the spray, the kiss of the spray, that is, the water drops falling on the face while in the sea, and the dance of the foams, glee, the foams which forms by the up and downs movement of the tide, according to the poet, are sweeter and work struggling. In the last line, she asked the fisherman to depart for the point in the sea where the sun meets the sky, that is horizon. The point where we feel like the sun is meeting the sky. Symbolically, it refers to the infinity or a place without end. In this perspective, she asked the fisherman to dive into the infinite sea. In this stanza, the poet says that the comfort and the joy that the Indians under the might be sweet, but the fragrance of independence and the feeling of being free is quite sweeter, and hence the freedom fighter should wage a final war for the independence